Made it. Now to climb up to its head.
The studio has been making first-person shooters in the Killzone series for a little over a decade. And so when they went to make something that was a role-playing game, that was an open-world game, there were some adjustments that needed to be made. So there were some engine adjustments. So the type of streaming that an open world has is very different. The way that the world fits together and flows. The lighting system is different.
Or were you
so
riding
there's a lot of
that
work
strider
that
when you
the
came through the
team
gate?
from Guerrilla had to do. In addition to that, they wanted to bring in some people that had backgrounds that were in making open world games. And so I was one of those hires. John Gonzalez, the narrative director, was one of the hires that was brought in to bring that type of experience. A number of the designers that work on the Quest team have worked in similar games.
Maybe I can scan it.
We have a gentleman that worked on The Witcher 3.
Well, we were at the end of Killzone 3. We were really wanting to look at new things that new areas we could explore. So we had open to the whole company where people could pitch their ideas, different kind of game types. It was really exciting and really fun for the team. And Horizon was that idea that boiled to the top, and everybody immediately liked this idea, and we were very excited about doing it. And it was also something new and fresh for us to work on. So, just gives us new things to learn, new areas to explore. It was just a very rewarding experience.
Yes, it is, and if you've had a chance to play and look at the map, you can get a sense for how big the world is. It's all one space. There's no sections that are divided up that you teleport between. So it's all built together. And one of the things that we worked on really hard was to make sure that all of the content can be engaged with or left alone. So you can start playing something and decide that there's something else that you would like to try for a bit, or you want to go back to town and get some more supplies or sell some of the items that you've acquired. And with very, very few exceptions, that's almost always true, that you can start something, decide to do something else and move around. So you will have a lot of options open to you, lots of different types of content, lots of different quests, and you can approach them any way you want and in any order.
Horizon's it's developed into really its own thing. So we wanted to make a very open world that the player is free to explore, and with the combat, we wanted something that allows the player to really use their own thoughts, their own way to overcome challenges. So there's not just one right way. Lots of choice and opportunity. So through the process of creating this world, creating the combat and things, the combat's fairly fast paced, and so I think all of these elements together make it very difficult to say exactly where it sits, because there's aspects of all. So you have very fast-paced action aspects and RPG and character growth. So we're really hoping that this is kind of a new blend of all these elements.
Choose your trial. This trial tests your...
We're not talking about the exact number. In playtests, people have spent quite a lot of time playing the game to finish both the main quest and to do a lot of the side activity.
Weapons and outfits, they have slots that you can socket in different abilities. And these things that you socket in, you'll get those from killing the machines and harvesting some of their parts. So yeah, and that way you can grow your weapons and your outfits maybe towards your play style or towards particular elements that you like.
We don't have a new game plus or a way to start over with your progress.
So your war
but
chief's...
the way the end of the game is set up,
He has
you can either finish everything that you want to do before you do the finale, or once you have finished the game, you can go back and continue to play the game if you choose to do that.
There are some that can be used at great distance. Again, when designing the weapons, we again liked this very contrast. So that's why we went with very primitive, like a bow and arrow against machines, because it's the biggest contrast you can have is this
one of the things that we struggled with at first was no one had made a game like this before. No one had made a book that we could read or a movie that we could watch that was exactly what this game was. So the challenge early on was figuring out both on the writing side in terms of like writing the backstory for this world, but also on the quest design side, coming to understand that and really master what was going on in this world so that we could turn that into quests and stories. And so that was a big challenge for us early on, is just kind of discovering what this game was. And that's, well, the concept has always been that the protagonist would be a female, would be a woman. And there were a lot of different things that were used as inspiration. Ripley from the Alien series, Princess Mononoke, and just a lot of internal work was done on a ton of different concepts. Jan Bard, our director, has a stack of different versions that we've gone through to get to the character that we have today. So it is something that we feel both inspired by a lot of different things, but also something that is very uniquely ours. Something that she is who she is. She is Aloy, and who she is special and different.
The war chief stopped here. So they must have taken a moment to rest.
Well, at the beginning, we actually even started off playing with some multiplayer in our game, but then we decided that it's very much a single player experience. It's very much Aloy's story and her being this, very clever, agile hunter. So we're really focused on Aloy's story and keeping that. As to what's in the future, I can't really speak to that because all of our efforts right now are really going into kind of wrapping up Horizon.
No, we have a single ending. We made the decision that we wanted to really focus on the story and the way the narrative comes together. And so there are things that you can do to influence how the ending comes together, but everyone will experience from a story perspective the same thing. It's complicated in that it's not something that I can give you just like a 1 or a 2 sentence description. It requires a little bit more telling. But what we've done is we take our time. There's a lot of quests and main quests and side quests that build out the world and explain what's going on. And internally and from our testing, we find that as the story is playing out, people are very excited about it. They're having a lot of fun. They understand what's going on, and they can't wait to find out what happens next. And by the time you get to the end of the game, everything is clear. Everyone understands the state of the world, how it got to be where it is, and they're excited to see the finale. So
the behaviors of the enemies, that stays consistent across all of the difficulties. At the higher difficulties, the monsters will be more deadly, so they'll do more damage. Aloy should take more damage and health. Do a bit less, they'll be a bit harder to kill the enemies. Also on the very higher levels, you'll have less help like aim assist, so it's more where you can challenge your skill and see exactly how good you are. Things like resources will be a little less common, so you really have to plan out your tactics and be very efficient and be very skilled in the more advanced levels is how that is balanced.
It's super dynamic. The machines have their own AI. They have an awareness of each other, and the different configurations that you'll find in the world with different machines together change how they behave, and the ways that they will try to move around you or try to attack you. And then you have a similar large number of options depending on the weapons that you choose to accumulate and how you choose to modify those weapons.
For me, the most important thing is I appreciate games where I can figure stuff out. I can use my own brain. I'm not told what to do. There's not one right answer. I don't have to use this weapon against this enemy. And the combat allows for a variety of playstyles. So I might be the player who does just, I like running in and shooting, and I'm very skilled at what I do, and so I can do that. Other players, maybe they're not as skilled as that, and they want to be a bit stealthier or quiet. So there we want to give you the tools to make you as a player feel smart. And one of these is using the focus device that she has on her head. And with that, players who like to take their time and be a bit more cautious, you can see the enemy's weaknesses, you can see where they're walking on the ground, you can be very clever about where to place traps or the tripwires. And it allows for a wide range of elements. And then once you get stuff like the hacking ability in, which is something that I think you'll play later this afternoon, there you can choose to make robots fight each other and choose those tactics instead. So you can bring a lot of variety to and play each encounter differently. And that's what I really appreciate.
There is, I don't have the stats memorized, but my understanding is there's some graphical differences, but in terms of gameplay, it's not different. It's just the resolution and some of the visuals are improved on the PS1 Pro.
The hardest thing, there's a lot of the hardest things. Really, we spent a long time finding that combat that was just right for us. So we started with an original, like, just blank page, and we experimented in a lot of different directions, and we had a lot of things in, and then we threw them out because that didn't feel like that was the DNA that we wanted for our game, that fit nicely with the story or with the character. Example, we could have just weapons that made Aloy feel too powerful, and we don't want that because it doesn't fit the character or the theme. So that was a nice experience, just evolving the game to the point where we feel like, okay, this is our game, this is an original idea, and we've really taken a lot of inspiration from all sources and really turned it into something that's our own. And it was a very challenging and long process, but again, very rewarding along the way. It allowed us to really express ourselves.
That's a great question,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you. So it's actually part of the story. So there's a moment in the main quest where the meaning of what that title means is explained in a lot of detail, and we don't want to spoil that moment for people by going into too much detail. But what we can say is that if you play the main quest of the game, it's very clear. It's something that we spend a lot of time on, so it's a big moment in the game. Well, the message that I would ask you to take back is we're thrilled that they're excited because we're super excited. We're hitting milestones now where the game is almost done. It's coming together. We're putting the last touches on it. And this is a different experience for me and for a lot of people because it feels like the game has come together in a really fun way. And we're very excited and proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And we just can't wait for people to take a look at it. And we hope that they have as much fun playing it as we have.